I was asked a little bit ago what was on my master bus, and this isn't really typical of what's on my master bus, but just it has everything that I would use and nothing that I wouldn't use. So basically, I have Ableton's EQ8 um, with it rolled off at 30 hertz slightly. This is good for filter sweeps and stuff like that. Um, and that just kind of, it's pre-processing to kind of clean up the low end. No, close that. That's it. Basically, that's it. The ping pong delay for breakdowns and such, reverb for breakdowns and other kind of effects, master effects. But that's basically all I use. I might throw a flanger on there or whatever. Um, but yeah, so when it gets down to like post processing, I use the Waves EQ. It's Q8, and it's pretty powerful. Just for simply like I'll know okay, before the sound goes into all of these, it needs to be at a certain like velocity across a certain spectrum. And if I want like the kick to poke through, if I didn't do it in the mix, which I really do, um, then I would kind of boost the frequencies around the appropriate bits. Not that much, maybe like 1 or 2 decibels, but like enough to actually, hear it to have an audible effect. Oops. Oh, yeah, it's hidden behind my camera. Okay, yeah. There you have it. Then I would may or may not use the imager. This would add some stereo wideness to a rather bleak kind of sound. I wouldn't use it that much, and I wouldn't dick around with the symmetry and asymmetry and the rotation and stuff like that. Oops, I would just simply, how do I, 0, come on, there you go. I don't know why it's doing that. Yeah, and I would just kind of make it wider across all bands slightly. I know Steve Duda does this, and it has its use. Next up, come on, I'm using Ozone. Not for any of the dynamic stuff. I might take the EQ just because the brick wall low pass really works well, and it cleans it up more so. I don't do the high pass. I roll off add right like yet, but yeah, that's what I'll do. That's basically all I'll do with the EQ. If it's appropriate to add a slight bit of reverb, then I do. If not, I do not. Sometimes for retro sounding tracks, like if I'm making like house or whatnot, I'll excite certain areas with tape or whatnot. Kind of fun. But what I really do with Ozone is that it has just a nice multi-band compressor that really it cleans up each area. And I should kind of do a tutorial on this. I think I already have. Anyway, it cleans it up and just kind of levels everything together, which I then, all it is just kind of smoothing everything out. And I'll listen to it for a while, and then I'll solo each, and I'll listen to the contour of like, I'm making up words now. I'll listen to the track as a whole, the dynamics of each, the bass and the mids and the highs. Highs not so much. Compressing the highs, you can't really hear it, and it's really easy to overdo. Basically, yeah. A lot of times I'll kind of smooth this out. I'll make the low ends very narrow and their stereo width, and I might boost these, or I'll do this. The higher ones, the higher frequencies you can get away with. You know, kind of making it really really wide. It's for like modern dance music. It's used a lot, and that's basically all I'll use for ozone. Uh, I'll use this, or I'll use maybe the glue. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll either use this or the glue. I like this because it's more retro. This actually comes with Ableton 9. It's called the Glute Compressor, and it's really well on the master. So basically, what's happening is the multiband of ozone, if it'll open. Come on. Anyway. What are you doing? Oh my god, it's freezing up. Yeah, I hate Ozone 5, but I use it anyway. So you're compressing each band, and then you're compressing it as a whole, right? So like each one of these bands you're smoothing out. Each one of these bands you're smoothing out the low, mid, highs, and then with the SSL you're smoothing it out, just the general overall dynamics of the track, and then slightly. Remember, slightly. I use this for some tracks, house. I may even just use it on some loops. It's not really a compressor, it's a maximizer. It makes it sizzle if you turn the process up. I really like it. It gives it that older feel. This is for like guitars and stuff like that, but it works well. The linear phase EQ, it's the low band, so it rolls things off at 30 hertz. So, you know, MP3s, they go down to 20, or not, well, audio in general. Computer audio, CD audio, yeah, CD audio goes down to 20 hertz, but this rolls it off at like 40 something. It starts at no, maybe even 50, and then it's a smooth kind of linear roll off, and it really cleans up the low end, and that gives you headroom for your L2, which I'll be using for many years until they discontinue. I don't see that happening, but it's like the magic final stage of just making things not loud but stick together. Makes it, you know, sonically pleasing. And when you use all of these effects, it clears up the peaks, but it doesn't squish them. You don't want to squish them too much. It's only slightly. And then you bring this down, and it sounds like one whole track, and it sounds juicy. So that's my mastering chain.